Welcome to the Pulse with Peter B. I'm your host, Peter Biancamano. Let's get you to the pulse on everything you need to know. And today's show is sponsored by the Pilsner House and Beer Garden. Go visit our friends at 1422 Grand Street. Have a beer, have a pretzel, have some ribs, and have a great time. We're also sponsored by Longshot Pistol and Rifle, Secaucus, New Jersey, providing responsible CCW training only to responsible owners. Visit their huge indoor training center and full-service gun store. Start your CC training today. Longshot Secaucus. You're going to want to get there. It's going to be an awesome experience. And I have to put these on, folks. Sorry about that. Just got really, really sunny out. And speaking of awesome, we have back with us again, Megan Ixim of @Miss Giggles, our Places Insider. Megan, great to see you.
So nice to see you as well.
You love my little robot thing there.
I did love the little robot thing.
Exactly.
And,
We have no prompter, as you could see, Megan. So I don't know why I was talking like there was a robot, right?
I don't know. You were just in the moment. You were super excited to see me. You know,
That's
it's
what
okay.
it is.
I completely
That's
understand.
what it is. And today, Megan, you're going to take us all the way to Sussex County. And we are big fans
baby.
of Sussex County.
Are we?
We are, because we've done plenty of shows at Skyland Stadium. We've done the Christmas light show there. We've done the
yes.
Jack-O-Lantern Festival with Justin Fararella, who's the general manager of the Sussex County Miners. He's a very good friend of the show. Justin, we love you. But today we're going to be talking about one of the local restaurants in Sparta, which is Krogh's, located at 23 White Deer Plaza, as I mentioned, in Sparta. And I thought I was going to mess up that address, but I didn't.
No, you didn't.
Do they call it White Deer because there's a lot of deer around there?
There is so many deer. Oh my goodness. Oh my. I think I've sadly, bless their hearts, hit about 3 deer in my lifetime in that area.
How's your cars doing after that?
One was totaled.
Oh
yes.
My
yes.
goodness. Deers I can get along with. It's those bears. And I know there's plenty of bears in Sussex County.
I actually like bears.
Okay.
Yes.
But not hitting them, because then your car will be really totaled.
God, no. I don't want to hit any bears. Oh, my goodness. But growing up, you know, we lived on an area that was really wooded. And so I used to get picked up for the bus about like 6:30, 7 a.m. And our neighbors...
A mile away from the house? No.
Yes, pretty far from us, and our neighbors would always give us a call at like 6:30, being like, "Hey, just so you know, a bear's eating the trash, so you have to wait to get to the bus."
Oh no!
You know, it was my.
You had to tell the bus driver,
yes,
"Excuse me, the bear was outside."
We have to wait for the bear to
exactly.
leave,
We have to wait for the bears to finish breakfast. Anyway, let's talk about Krogh's. In looking just generally at the place, it looks like kind of like an old school type of pub. Am I right?
Totally, yeah. And when I was trying to pick up a place, I really wanted to pick somewhere off the beaten path, kind of an homage to growing up in Sussex County, Jefferson area, and a place that I really enjoyed going to, you know, becoming a young person, 20, 21, going out, exploring those routes, and also having a good meal. So Krogh's is definitely an old school pub atmosphere. It has like the Tudor outside, and it's located on Lake Mohawk, which is really, really beautiful.
Beautiful there, yeah.
You can walk right across the street, go for a nice walk on the boardwalk. And I just think it's a great location, a great feel, and is a nice chill place to get a meal and kind of get outside of the city sometimes. It's really nice.
It's great. And we've always said this, Sussex County isn't that far away, folks, in Hudson County. I mean, you have to go, obviously, when there's no traffic.
Yes.
But certainly it's, it's maybe
less,
an hour and a
It's
half
an hour.
tops.
Yes.
Exactly.
And it's all highways, which is so easy.
Exactly. Now, Megan, what is your go-to dish when you do go to Krogh's?
Oh, my goodness.
Several go-to dishes, let's just say.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, when you're really craving those like delicious pub dishes, this is the place you want to go, because first and foremost, they make some of their beers.
No way.
You know, and they have a great, so they do like a white and a brown, you know, very classic, very easy, which I think is really, really fun. And always have a really great variety of different beers on tap, always evolving, you know, so it's a good place to just get like a beer, a burger. You know, I personally love getting their onion rings. The beer battered onion rings are absolutely delicious. Or, you know what I've been craving lately?
What have you been craving?
potato skins.
Oh my God, me too.
Right?
Oh,
I feel like there's not a place around
Does-
here that does like amazing
does
potato
Krogh's
skins.
do great potato
Yes,
skins? Oh,
yes,
my
they do.
God.
You know where you bake it and it gets like the potato is actually good.
Exactly.
They're not frozen. You know, they're making it.
Exactly. And I'm a big fan
Exactly.
of when you actually cut the whole potato,
Yes,
take
you
out the
just-
guts, as you
take
say,
the guts.
and then just put the cheese and the bacon
Yes,
inside.
exactly.
That's a real
And
potato
fresh-
skin, not that stuff you get at TGI Fridays in the frozen section, right?
Yes, exactly. It's not the Costco bag.
Exactly. Still good, just not,
Listen,
I mean.
potatoes are potatoes.
Yeah,
Listen,
exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So you said it's traditional bar food, like you said,
Yes.
onion rings. Go in there for a good burger and things.
Mhm.
I'm sure their recipe hasn't changed since they've
Yeah,
opened,
I think I've been going there since I was 11, 12 years old.
which was
and I
only 10
don't
years ago.
think- Oh, so sweet.
Of course, that's what I'm here for.
And I think that it's another place where they have really interesting specials. There's always something different to get, but honestly, it's a place you're going for like a sandwich, a salad, maybe some apps, and a beer.
Love it.
Very easy, sticking to the point. Really, that comfort food.
Is it
That's what I
almost
think
like
about.
Cheers, where you walk in and they know your name?
Yes, absolutely. There's like trivia nights where if anyone pulls off their phone, you're like excommunicated for sure.
There's not even service in Sussex County.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh God.
I know. I'm sorry.
I
I'm
think that's the reason why I pay so much for Verizon. Is because we were forced to have Verizon because it's the only thing that worked growing up.
That is so funny. So, Megan, if you had to compare Krogh's,
Uh-huh.
because we are a local show here, to
Yes.
a place that's local in a Hudson County, Bergen
Ooh.
County,
Yeah.
Sussex County area, what would you compare it to?
I would compare it to O'Leary's, which is near me,
Interesting.
where it's like, there's good food, it's a good price, it's that bar food that actually is really tasty, not like bar food, which
Nice.
if you know, definitely.
yeah.
But
Not the
O'Leary's,
stuff
I feel
that,
like
you get
it's
at Restaurant
a really
Depot.
good
Sorry.
spot because it's like you go for a beer,
Mhm.
you go for a burger, which their patty melts are absolutely fantastic. If
wow.
anyone is looking for a great burger, O'Leary's is great. I think it's like $11. Patty melt, delicious, but you are gonna want to pass out afterwards for sure.
So make sure you're drinking too. This way, that'll
Make
help
sure
you.
Drink, put out those levels. A beer, a bite,
Exactly.
a beer, a bite. So yeah, I definitely think that would be my comparison. But Krogh's does a little bit more of that like German influence. So it's more like
Nice.
sausages. Like one of my favorite items is like a rare bit sauce sandwich with like cuts of steak, and it's just like gorgeous on a really thick bun. Like
That's
French
amazing.
bread.
That's amazing.
One of the things I hate is like soggy bread on a really
Yeah, it's
saucy sandwich because it just
Yeah,
falls apart. And I don't like
exactly.
to get I like to eat, but I don't want to get messy in public.
100%.
You know.
And I'm assuming, Megan, that once you go into Krogh's, reservations probably not needed
No,
or
yeah.
not even taken.
Yeah, I don't even know if they take reservations, to be perfectly honest. I know I haven't made one.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, what are you in the mood for? Oh, let's go to Krogh's.
Let's
okay.
go to Krogh's.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, but there are some nights where it might be pretty crowded.
Yes,
And it is
definitely.
worth the wait, you would say, correct?
I
If
think
there will be a
so.
wait, who knows?
Yes, I think so. They're also, I don't know if it's still there, but there was a really interesting restaurant down the street. So there's a little area there's a couple of restaurants. There's like
Nice.
Mohawk House, which is
So you
really
kinda walk
high
it.
end.
Yeah.
So, it is worth the wait, but obviously there's some other places that you can go if you went all the way up there and you can like stall.
Nice, nice. Well,
Yeah.
listen, we joke around about Sussex County being like this wooded area, but
It is a wooded
It is a
area.
wooded area, but Sparta's actually, one of probably the main city there, with
Yeah,
a
I
great
think so.
downtown nightlife and all of that. So
I don't know if I would say great downtown
with a
nightlife.
downtown.
Downtown nightlife.
Exactly. Well, Megan, we appreciate you coming on and bringing us all the way to Sussex County, I should say, to talk about this wonderful place named Krogh's.
Yes, thank you so much. I want to represent some of the other areas in
Amen.
New Jersey that sometimes don't get as much love.
And I'm telling you, we are popular up there. I'm telling you.
believe you're popular.
Skyland Stadium, they know us.
Yes.
I mean, they know us.
They know
I don't know
us.
if they like us, but they know us.
Oh, well.
Exactly. Thanks again, Megan. Really appreciate it. Megan Ixim, our Places Insider from @Miss Giggles on Instagram. Make sure you follow her there, and we'll see you next time.
See you soon. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thanks again.
Bye.
All right, folks. We will be right back.
Welcome to Hudson River Care and Counseling. Hello, I'm Dr. Pam Pater-Ennis, the CEO and founder of Hudson River Care and Counseling with over 30 years of clinical social work experience in therapy. We are a progressive counseling and coaching practice with a diverse team that brings a holistic approach to clients. We offer support both in person and through digital platforms such as telehealth. Consider us a safe haven that you can trust with care for your mental health needs. Visit our website to set up a consultation today.
Peter Biancamano, your hostess with the mostest of the Pulse with Peter B. Folks, don't forget to go on our Facebook and our Instagram pages by searching The Pulse with Peter B. and like and follow us on each of those platforms. We're constantly updating those pages with previews of each week's segments and cool stories. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to our email address at thepulsewithpeterb@gmail.com.
Welcome back. I'm your host with the most, not like that bum Peter Biancamano who calls himself a hostess because he's not sure which bathroom to use. And I'm so happy to be here with my friend Elizabeth Nader. How you doing?
Hi, Josh. I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me. This is incredible. Look at this setting. How could I resist this?
It's a beautiful view. And for everybody out there in TV land and on the internet, Elizabeth is a leading figure in the New Jersey conservative Republican freedom movement. Tell us what organizations are you involved with? What have you been up to?
Been up to a lot, Josh. It's been a crazy 2.5 years. I started in medical freedom. A lot of us mama bears had a fight down in Trenton right before the pandemic in January of 2020 against some moves they were making with religious exemptions. And from there, it took off. I'm on county committee in Morris County. I have a show, The Nader Narrative, on Jersey First TV. I'm on the board of Jersey First, which is a C4 that Rosemary Becky started. You remember she ran for Congress in District 11. And I'm happy to say that I am also working with Bill Spadia at the Common Sense Club, which is another C4. He started about 8 months ago. We have 65,000 members and growing.
Wow.
At 2,000 a week. And we're trying hard to change New Jersey and to really see a change next year in the elections in 23 and all the way up to the governor's race. So it's a lot, Josh, but it's really exciting.
So what are the different foci of the two organizations, that Jersey First and what was it, the Common Sense Club?
Common Sense Club, yeah. So Jersey First, they're both social advocacy groups. So if you understand, a C4 designation, they both work to improve things in New Jersey and to educate people. And in specific to Common Sense Club, we've been working heavy on policy. We actually helped introduce a parental bill of rights this spring, and we had 40,000 citizen signers in 4 days. And those emails went to assembly senators and to the governor, and we threw in the NGEA head as well, just for fun. So we're working with the public to advance legislation that we think addresses concerns that they have. We also have a Small Business Protection Act. So Common Sense Club is very aggressive at amplifying the voice of the people in a way that I don't think has been done before. And Jersey First is all about policies that put Jersey families first, businesses first. So in a lot of ways, they both are doing the same thing in terms of the outcome. It's just the means and methods are different. We have Bill Spadia with Common Sense Club, which adds a little bit of a unique aspect to it.
Well, he definitely has a large following and articulates a common sense perspective, both on the radio and in print.
Yes, he does. And I think that's what's unusual about it is he kind of became the voice during the pandemic of the everyday person, the frustrations we had with businesses shut down, with schools closed. Jersey First did some great things with lawsuits against some of these school systems. And there was Bill on the radio every morning saying what we all wanted to say, to the point where his audience is now 1.5 million people. But Josh, it's not just Republicans. It's a third Democrat, a third Independent, and a third Republican. And that, I think, is exciting because that means that people are listening across the spectrum and they want change.
Well, there's definitely a lot of people out there, whether they're Democrat or Independent, that are willing to listen to some common sense Republican ideas. But when you talked about the Parents' Bill of Rights, it reminded me, and maybe you could explain if it's connected to the issue right now that the Murphy's State Board of Education is pushing, this radical, sexualized agenda on children as young as, in the single digits in our schools. And there's a lot of districts out there that are revolting and don't want to do this. Is the parental Bill of Rights related to that, or is it separate? Or
No, it's all tied in. In fact, it's also tied into a push we're doing with Arise New Jersey to get people on school board, and Jersey First has been doing that as well. So we're all working together. But that need for a parental Bill of Rights, first of all, it's kind of crazy that in this day and age we have to actually codify our rights as parents. I mean, let that sit for a moment. But we really pushed this when it was finally discovered what the state board had passed in 2020 related to these new curriculum requirements, which, as you know, we're not going to discuss what it pushes. If you can believe, we can't even talk about that, but it goes down to kindergarten. So parents are outraged, and we're seeing now that our school boards are even standing up, and parents are demanding, and certain school boards are saying, we're not going to do this. Or I know Middletown today, Jackie Tobacco said they're going to have an opt-in, which is an interesting approach, meaning we're not doing this unless a parent wants to opt in. And so, yes, this is absolutely in response to that. We think that the Murphy administration has overplayed its hand and simply gone too far.
Well, I mean, I do think it's important that viewers out there understand that not only are the democratic policies of the left destroying the economy, but also they want to bring in sexualized education to people as young as first grade and teach them about all sorts of things that I can't say on television, but somehow they can teach it to kids. And it's just wrong. It's baffling. We need to teach kids actual subjects, math, science, history. The rest of the world, especially our frenemy, I think more enemy than frenemy, China, they teach their kids hard data. They don't waste time on social agendas. And, obviously China's a horrible place, but we could still learn about focusing on what children need to know, just like they do there.
Well, reading, writing, and arithmetic somehow got lost in all of this. But here's the message, and I think it's not only true for New Jersey, but the country. The Democrats have no ideas to solve our problems. Instead of focusing on inflation, the economy, our national security, our standing in the world, what's happening with our kids, they're focusing on gender studies, and they're focusing on teaching children things that parents should be teaching, if at all, at the kitchen table. They're not coming up with real solutions that are common sense based to solve the problems that we're all facing. And so I think we're at a point where it's becoming clear the emperor has no clothes, and the Democrat Party is in trouble.
Very much so. So we only got a little bit of time left, but why don't you tell us your perspective on what the Republican Party needs to do to win hearts and minds in New Jersey going into the congressional midterm elections, and then after that, going forward in our state?
I think it comes down to, in large part, what Youngkin did in Virginia. It's social conservative issues, which frankly reach across all the different Democrats and independents. The far left is one thing, but there's so many good Democrats who want their families to prosper and their businesses. We've got to stop being the party, and I think we've stopped being the party who talks about capital gain taxes and the tax. By the way, the taxes in New Jersey are awful. They're going to be awful for a while until someone fixes it. In the meantime, what does the Republican Party need to do? It needs to message about those social conservative issues that say we care about your kids, we care about your family, we care about how you put food on the table, we care about your businesses, because small business is the backbone of this state, and we lost a third of those during COVID. So it's these common sense principles that affect your daily life and my daily life, and the Democrats aren't doing it. This is our opportunity. We've always stood for those things. We just took it for granted.
Well, definitely couldn't agree with you more. Elizabeth, I'd just like to say it was a distinct pleasure.
Thank you, Josh. Always fun.
Hope to have you on in the future.
I'd love it.
Everybody out there in TV land, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Peter Biancamano back with you. Don't forget to watch us on cable access every Sunday and Monday at 9 a.m. Optimum Channel 18, Files Channel 46, and Comcast Channel 190. Also on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m., you can watch our show on our YouTube channel, and you can also binge watch all of our old shows. Who doesn't want to keep watching The Pulse with Peter B? We'll see you there. Welcome back to The Pulse with Peter B. Peter Biancamano back in the host chair. And now that boom. Josh Sotomayor Einstein is off of the set. Thank goodness for that, because he's got no talent, as everybody knows. We do have a person with a lot of talent to my right. And this is not a Pulse premiere because she's been on the show multiple times before. I believe this is your third time, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe it is as well.
Unbelievable. And that's our guest contributor today, Daisy Levine. Daisy, great to see you
Hi.
again.
Yes, great to see you too.
Exactly. And, I don't want to say that Daisy's part of the H-Town Breakdown, but she does it because she's not part of that podcast with Leah and Taylor. But she does know them very well because I believe you guys all went to school together.
We did, yes. I hang out with Taylor like every day. So that's
Perfect.
something for
Yeah. Taylor, we miss you. We'll see you on a future show, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Correct? So Daisy, one of the things that Taylor and Leah talked a lot about in their last appearance on the show was going off to college. Obviously, you guys all went to school together, so you're going off to college as well. And you were going to what school?
Boston University.
Wow. So what made you decide to get out of the Jersey metropolitan area?
Oh, gee. Well, I hope my father doesn't see this, but to be quite honest with you, BU was my top choice from the start. Really, it didn't really have anything to do with distance, but it's a good distance from home. I'm going to miss New York, but I think I need to branch out and kind of try a new place, start over.
And it's far, but not that far. It's a 4-hour drive, right?
Yeah, train ride for me.
Yeah.
I don't have a car.
Okay, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, not yet, that is, Daisy, right?
Who's probably never going to have a car. If I'm going to be that's just never going to happen.
There you go. I like that. Okay, so it must have been very, very difficult for a high school senior, and actually you were a high school junior when the COVID-19 pandemic began. Rather.
I was actually a sophomore.
Sophomore,
Yeah.
excuse me. My God, it's been going on for almost
Yeah.
like COVID time. You just forget everything,
Pretty
correct?
much, yeah.
Yeah, it's incredible. So you really went through high school living through COVID. And I can imagine. So I was just wondering if you can tell the audience the process of how you can apply for colleges and select a school and so on and so forth during a pandemic.
I think the part that people mostly think is completely glamorized by the media is the whole SAT test optional thing. And to be quite honest with you, for me and my friend's experience, we really could not get a seat anywhere. So that was a big shift just culturally that the whole country kind of had to adapt to, was your grandparents being well, what's your SAT score? And I'm I need to get a spot in the room first, and I need to not have COVID and all that. And a lot of the schools that I applied to, I never even saw. So
isn't that awful though? I mean, I just
Yeah.
feel one of the reasons why you pick a university to go to is because you fall in love with its ambiance.
right, yeah, there were some that were really close by that I couldn't even see until after I applied, even though they were very close by. It's just that the tour groups had gotten smaller and smaller, and everyone wanted to go as soon as they opened right back up. So I had trouble seeing NYU, which is super close to me, Fordham, which is also really close. I never got to see Rutgers. I never got to
And did you even apply there?
I
or-
did, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, everyone does, but
Right.
I just couldn't ever see it because, again, it's a big school. A lot of kids apply in state, and you just could not get a spot on that tour no matter what you did.
Wow, unbelievable. Let's go back to what you said about the SATs. I mean, I was dreading taking it. I wasn't taking the SATs that long ago, Daisy, just so
Okay.
you know. I mean, I know she thinks that I'm ancient, but that's okay. Let's talk about the SATs. I was always dreading going to sit in a class. It was very nerve-wracking, obviously, and it gave me anxiety and so on and so forth. But my God, you still need SATs, although a lot of colleges are dropping the requirement these days. But I'm sure when you applied, you still needed the requirement. If you can't even get an appointment, I mean, how are you going to take the test that's required to get into the school you want?
Yeah, it was rough. I'm not going to lie to you. I had to drive, I think it was over an hour and a half near the Jersey Shore for mine.
Wow.
Which was bad because also kids, their license tests were all pushed back too. So that means I had to make my mother get up at 5:30 in the morning to drive me. And so she wasn't too happy about that. Sorry, Mom.
Sue, we love you.
Yes. But it ended up being okay for me. But they ended up overcrowding the test center, and so we were delayed by an hour and a half, and so I didn't get out of there until 3:30, which normally you get out maybe 1:30 if you take the essay. It's really not supposed to be that bad, but it was pretty bad.
Wow.
And just because too many kids were in there, because there were people from all the way from my area that were having to drive all the way down to the Jersey Shore. I knew of kids having to go out to Connecticut. Really, really bad horror stories. And if you don't have like a house down the shore, which some of my friends did have, so they ended up being okay. But if you don't and you're like me, you're just virtually screwed.
This is when you say, "Hey, can I stay at your shore house for the night or what?"
Pretty much. I mean, it's really it was a rough time taking that, but it adds this layer of stress, I think, a lot for kids, because it's like as soon as it opens, you have to grab a seat and you know that it's still going to be really far no matter what you do. So instead of just worrying about like studying and being like, oh, buying a book and writing in the book and trying to do all that stuff, practice tests and whatnot, you also have to worry about like, yeah, but if I get COVID, it doesn't even matter. Like, which happened to me. Actually, I got COVID the weekend of my SAT and I wasn't able to go.
Wow.
So I studied and then I was like, oh, guess I got to wait next month.
So does your guidance counselor at your former guidance counselor now at your high school, will he in essence say, listen, or he or she, excuse me. I had to correct, sorry. Will he in essence say, listen, start early because you might not get a spot for your SAT? Or like, are students taking their SATs now in like their sophomore year instead of their junior and senior years?
There are a lot of people that are, yes. I have cousins who are a year younger than me who like were really trying to get on it as early as they could, but unfortunately the earliest that I think most kids do it usually is the summer, like before their junior year or leading into fall winter of that time. But the issue is at that time for them, which was winter of my senior year, so it was just last winter, things started going up again and you had other variants coming in, so theirs got canceled as well. So I mean, there's an advantage to trying to get it done early, but there's never a guarantee, I think, if you're doing it during like the winter time. At least hopefully for this year it's like way better, but for them I know it wasn't. So
Interesting.
It is rough, but a lot of schools are trying to be observant of that. But I know that for pretty much if your parents and students, if your kid is a senior like this year, they're probably not going to be test optional from what I've read.
Wow. Unbelievable. Now, you said you're going to BU. Was that one of the schools you visited or?
Yeah.
Okay, good. So you saw the campus and all that good stuff, right?
That one I was actually able to get to. My cousins live out near Boston.
Cool.
So I had seen it before. And that was my top choice. Probably wouldn't have been if I never toured it, because how would I know?
Right.
But that ended up lucking out for me. If I didn't get in there, my second choice I never saw.
Interesting. Okay, so now, and by the way, you highlighted something there that you have family in Boston. I mean, was that important that you are going to be 4 hours by car or by train away from your parents, that you had family in Boston, or to your decision? No, right? No. She just wants to get up to Beantown and do her thing.
I'm going to be so honest with you, no.
I love that. I love that. So is there any recommendations, because we only have a few seconds left, that you do have for any type of students who, because look, the pandemic is still going on. I mean, people could still get COVID, their SAT like you. Any recommendations that you might have for students who are applying for colleges?
I would say get on everything as soon as you can, because you never know what might happen. So you never know if you might get sick or someone else might get sick. So don't leave yourself till 11:59 to start submitting stuff or to sign up for the SAT or any of that sort of thing, because things happen. People get sick. Things get canceled, and it's really just best move for you probably.
All right, Daisy. Well, you're heading off at the end of this month. We will miss you, but I'm sure you'll be back for the holidays, maybe some weekends too.
Yes, if my parents let me.
I don't think they're just going to be booting you, but I guess we'll see you soon enough, right?
Right.
Exactly.
To be continued.
Daisy Levine, our guest contributor. I want an update, possibly maybe in the middle of the year or next year when you come back on, okay?
Will do. Thank you.
I love that. Thanks again for coming.
Thank you so much.
All right, folks, join us next week for The Pulse on everything you need to know. I'm Peter Biancamano. I hope you have a great week, everybody.